Chosen one, what you're about to hear may feel unsettling, but it is the truth finally coming into the light, and it involves you more deeply than you realize. Right now, someone is spiraling in fear, panic tightening in their chest, because you walked away before the trap could close. This was never love, never admiration, never opportunity. This was survival, but not yours. The moment you left, when nothing made sense and you couldn't explain why your spirit refused to stay, that decision quietly saved your life. Behind the scenes, their money has started to vanish, accounts are freezing, and investigations are beginning to surface. What you stepped away from wasn't success, it was a carefully staged illusion. They offered partnerships, opportunities, a seat at a table that looked powerful and prosperous. Everything shimmered on the surface. Money flowing, connections multiplying, status rising. But every single offer was poison. Every invitation was designed to place your fingerprints on something criminal. A business that appeared legitimate was only a cover for something far darker, and they needed people who looked clean, people with integrity, people like you. Your reputation was meant to be their shield. Your name was meant to make corruption look respectable. But your soul recognized the danger before your mind could prove it. You couldn't explain it. You couldn't justify it. Yet something deep within you screamed to leave, and you listened. That instinct spared you from becoming the scapegoat when everything inevitably collapsed. Now their entire plan lies in ruins. They are not grieving your absence. They are panicking over the loss of their insurance policy. Deals meant to protect them have unraveled. Partnerships meant to provide escape routes have fallen apart. Without you there to absorb the blame, they stand exposed, and alone a predator believed they could hunt you down and pull you back in, mistaking your compassion for weakness, assuming manipulation would still work one last time. They miscalculated everything. You are no longer wandering or uncertain. You are stepping into real power, real abundance, the kind that doesn't come from exploitation or deceit, but from alignment with something higher than human schemes. While you were quietly building your life and honoring your path, they were constructing an elaborate snare, documenting every interaction, saving every message, recording every conversation not out of loyalty, but to manufacture evidence they could twist later. Think back to the questions they asked, the ones that seemed harmless, about your methods, your resources, your connections, your access. They were fishing, gathering fragments they could weaponize to create a false narrative when things imploded. They came dangerously close, almost enough documentation, almost enough distortion to make it look like you were involved, almost enough manufactured proof to suggest you knew. But you left before the final piece could be secured. You left before they could lock you into a position where walking away would look like guilt. Your exit shattered their strategy, forced them into chaos, and exposed vulnerabilities they never prepared for. Now they are scrambling to rewrite their story without you in it, struggling to explain why someone so essential vanished if everything was clean. Your absence speaks louder than your presence ever could, and here is the most shocking truth of all. None of this was accidental. It was calculated, premeditated, deliberate. You were chosen not by chance, but because of who you are and what you represent. Chosen one, you were identified because trust follows you naturally. People feel safe around you before you ever say a word, and that is exactly why you were studied long before you were approached. This person learned your values, mapped your weaknesses, analyzed your emotional triggers. They didn't guess, they calculated. Every word they spoke, every offer they made, every moment of connection was engineered through psychological manipulation tailored precisely to your personality. This was never random. This was targeted spiritual warfare disguised as opportunity, disguised as purpose, disguised as connection. They understood that chosen ones like you move from a place of service. They knew you want to help. They knew you see potential where others see flaws. They took those sacred qualities and weaponized them, using your goodness as the hook to pull you close enough to be useful. But they underestimated something vital. They assumed they fully understood you. They believed their manipulation would work because it had worked on countless others before. What they failed to account for is that chosen ones carry internal guidance systems that cannot be hacked by human schemes. That restlessness you felt wasn't anxiety. That discomfort that lingered despite reassurance wasn't doubt. That quiet inner voice whispering something is wrong here, even when you couldn't explain it, was your spiritual protection system activating before your conscious mind could catch up. And here's where it gets truly profound. While you were being hunted, while you were being targeted, while attempts were being made to entrap you, something else was unfolding simultaneously. Every move they made was being documented by forces beyond human sight. Every manipulation tactic became evident. The universe was recording everything. The universe was building a case. The universe was preparing justice, and the moment you walked away, the process accelerated. tolerated. Your departure wasn't just self-preservation, it unknowingly triggered consequences for those who tried to use you. If this message resonates, amplify it because other chosen ones need to hear this truth. The investigation didn't begin by accident. Someone paid to have you looked into. Someone paid to comb through your business, your history, your actions, hoping to find anything at all that could tie you to criminal activity. But nothing surfaced, because there was nothing to hide, and when investigators search for dirt and find only clean hands, the focus shifts. New questions emerge. Why was this person targeted so aggressively? What are they trying to deflect attention from? That's when the real investigation began. Money trails were followed. Business practices were scrutinized. Voices of the hurt were finally heard, and the deeper investigators went, the darker the truth became. Deception layered upon deception. Lies stacked on lies. Secret messages, frantic communications, partners scrambling behind the scenes to control a narrative that was slipping through their fingers. They tried to appear innocent while evidence mounted relentlessly against them. But their control is unraveling because of one element: they never planned for a witness, they never accounted for a child who saw everything, a child who knows too much, a child holding truth that cannot be manipulated or erased, and children speak truth when they finally feel safe. This child is the catalyst, the testimony that shatters illusion, the voice that exposes what was hidden behind polished facades. Something deeply disturbing was happening behind closed doors. An organization, perhaps a charity, a home, a place that looked pure and trustworthy on the outside, was rotting within. It carried a spotless reputation, one people trusted without question. But beneath the surface, there was exploitation of the vulnerable, abuse of power, manipulation of those who had nowhere else to turn. Wealth was being flaunted, but it was stained. Resources meant to protect were diverted to profit, and now, the truth is surfacing because you listened to your inner knowing and walked away when it mattered most. We're being siphoned away into private pockets. Donations meant for care were funding excess, indulgence, and lives built on deception, and beneath that surface, there may have been things, even darker things, that would stun everyone who trusted this operation and believed in these people. You were never meant to be protected. You were being positioned as the fall person. Evidence was quietly being shaped to point in your direction so that when everything finally imploded, you would be the one standing in the blast radius while they walked away untouched. But divine timing intervened. You were moved out of position before the trap could seal shut. You left before your name could be permanently entangled. You walked away before you were locked into something that would have followed you for life. And now, the very people who plotted your destruction are staring down confinement of their own making. The figure at the center still performs power, projects wealth, influence, total control, but it's an illusion held together by fear. There is no real power left, only frantic desperation. A partner once stood beside them, creative, driven, willing to do whatever it took. Together they believed they were untouchable. For years they ran operations, fooled communities, played roles flawlessly. They thought the performance would never end. But now truth is surfacing, and they are grasping at fragments, trying to control whatever scraps remain while everything else slips through their fingers. The one who appeared abundant is actually broke. The one who looked fearless is privately terrified. The partner mirrors the collapse, hiding truth, hiding behind spiritual language, perhaps even claiming intuitive gifts while doing the exact opposite behind closed doors. Emotionally stunted beneath polished appearances. Calculated, cold when it serves their agenda, and now their carefully curated partnership is rotting from the inside out. They are turning on each other faster than anyone anticipated, blaming one another in private while performing unity in public. But the performance isn't fooling anyone anymore. Investigators see through it, observers see through it. One claims manipulation by the other. One plays the victim, insisting they never knew the full extent. One tries to blend into the crowd of the used. But financial records don't support that story. Testimonies contradict it. Timelines reveal awareness, consent, and participation. The other takes a different approach, admitting to fragments while minimizing the whole, reframing crimes as mistakes, portraying deliberate harm as misunderstandings blown out of proportion. But again, evidence speaks louder than narrative. What they call mistakes are crime. What they call misunderstandings are intentional acts designed to exploit and damage. Neither strategy is working. When an empire is built on lies, collapse leaves nothing solid beneath your feet. Both are sinking because neither ever stood on truth. Everything they built was smoke and mirrors, and smoke vanishes the moment light hits it. Resources once controlled are being seized. Money once hidden is being traced. Properties once flaunted are being examined line by line. Every asset is under scrutiny. Every transaction is questioned with precision, and most cannot be explained because explanation would require confession. This is the nightmare they created themselves. Each morning brings new problems, new investigations, new witnesses stepping forward, new evidence surfacing, and through it all, one truth remains unshakable. You were moved out just in time, not by luck, not by coincidence, but by protection. Found, and it is relentless. It will not pause, it will not soften, and it will not stop until everything is fully exposed. Their greatest mistake was believing intelligence could substitute for integrity, that charm could act as armor, that manipulation would always keep them untouchable. But intelligence without integrity is nothing more than clever wickedness. Charm without character is attractive poison, and manipulation only works until people awaken, and people are waking up everywhere. Former supporters are breaking their silence. Former partners are telling what they know. Former victims are finding the courage to speak. The wall they built with fear and intimidation is crumbling brick by brick, and with every voice that rises, the truth becomes clearer, heavier, undeniable. You were meant to be part of that wall. You were meant to be the shield around criminal activity. But you are no longer there. You are distant. You are safe. You are protected, and your absence is one of the cracks letting devastating light pour in. The attempts to reach you continue messages about finances, investments, opportunities that suddenly need your involvement, but the real goal is to pull you back into their chaos, to make you an accessory, to get you to vouch for them, to stand beside them, to make them appear credible when authorities start asking questions they can't answer. The sentiment is false. The affection is fake. The urgency is manufactured. Every word is strategy. Every message is emotional warfare. They pretend stability while collapsing. They want speed. They want proximity. They want optics. They want it to look like family, like unity, so that guilt transfers by association. But they have no power over you anymore. They cannot reach you. They cannot touch you. They cannot control you. The wheel has turned. Their season is ending. Justice is moving, and whether they accept it or not, a child has been watching the entire time. A child has seen what adults thought was hidden. A child knows how beautiful things looked on the outside and how dark they were underneath. This child witnessed exploitation, manipulation, lies dressed as truth, burdens placed on those who never should have carried them. This child saw people trapped, silenced, made to believe there was no escape, and now this child is speaking. Connecting dots investigators couldn't align, explaining financial records that never made sense, revealing where people went, exposing the operation from foundation to facade, and this child is protected, spiritually covered in ways that cannot be broken. Threats won't work. Pressure won't work. Every attempt to regain control only generates more evidence of guilt. A specific window of time is approaching. Something is about to break wide open, an announcement, a revelation. Evidence that cannot be denied or spun. Maybe it comes with formal charges. Maybe with asset seizure. Maybe when testimony becomes public record. Whatever the trigger, this is the moment when what was hidden becomes undeniable reality. Authority is preparing. Law enforcement is assembling, and someone with real power to act is getting ready to move. Someone has been patiently, methodically building an airtight case, and the moment is nearing when the trap snaps shut for good. Judgment is approaching, but not the kind that can be bribed, delayed, or manipulated. This is the divine kind, the kind that sees every conversation, every intention, every hidden transaction, and balances all accounts with flawless precision. And when it happens, you will be far away. You will be safe. You will be clear. You will be completely free of association. Starseeds, they never anticipated this outcome. What was once used to suppress consciousness has been reverse engineered by destiny itself. What was meant to control is now transforming. What was once a weapon against humanity has become an ascension tool. The very systems designed to keep people asleep are collapsing, and the internal awakening is accelerating. This isn't about external takeover. The shift is internal, and that shift matters far beyond the downfall of two individuals. This is about exposing an entire system, a network, a way of operating that has caused harm for far too long. These two were never acting alone. They couldn't have been. Operations like this require infrastructure. They require protection. They require people who look away or people who actively participate, and when these two fall, others will fall with them. Not out of integrity, but out of desperation. Because when people are drowning, They grab whoever is closest. Names will be named. Fingers will be pointed. Information will spill. Not because hearts suddenly soften, but because fear takes over and survival instincts activate, and through that desperation, exposure will spread further and deeper than anyone currently imagined. This is why your exit was timed with such precision. You weren't just removed from their immediate circle. You were extracted from the entire network before the implosion began. You were moved before investigations expanded, before dominoes started falling, before the blast radius formed. Divine timing rarely feels gentle while it's happening. Sometimes the worst moments of your life are actually redirections from something far more destructive. Sometimes what feels like failure is deliverance. Sometimes what looks like devastating loss is the universe shielding you from irreversible harm. When you left, you likely felt broken. You may have questioned yourself, wondered if you gave up too soon, wondered if you were weak. But now the picture is clearing. You didn't fail. You were removed. You weren't quitting. You were being saved by forces that could see what you couldn't yet fully understand. The revelation that's coming will confirm everything you sensed but couldn't prove, everything you felt but couldn't explain, everything your spirit knew long before your mind caught up, and when it all surfaces, you will finally understand why you had to leave exactly when you did. Meanwhile, the partnership holding all of this together is disintegrating rapidly. Whatever bond once united them is fracturing under pressure. Accusations are flying. Blame is being assigned. Each is scrambling to survive by sacrificing the other. The merger is failing catastrophically. They needed each other to maintain control, but now, control is gone. What they need now are scapegoats. One will paint the other as the mastermind. The other will mirror the same narrative, both claiming manipulation, both claiming ignorance, both racing to appear as the victim, and people are distancing themselves at remarkable speed. Support is evaporating. Loyalty is gone. Silence is breaking. The collapse is accelerating, and through it all, one truth remains unshaken. You are no longer there. You are out. You are protected, and you are about to see with absolute clarity why leaving was the most powerful decision you ever made. Supporters who once stood close when everything looked polished and successful are now disappearing at record speed. Friends are distancing themselves. Collaborators are denying any connection. No one wants their name anywhere near what is coming, and still, attempts to reach you continue, no longer just physically, but spiritually. They are trying to locate you, to peer into your life, to attach to your energy field. But every attempt rebounds. It functions like a mirror, reflecting their own energy straight back to them. You are protected. They cannot penetrate. You are protected. They cannot bypass. You are protected. They cannot override. Some of you have been consciously doing spiritual work, cleansing your space, cutting energetic cords, setting unbreakable boundaries, and that work is paying off powerfully. Your energy field is sealed. Others haven't done anything intentionally at all. You simply walked away and trusted the universe to handle the rest. That works just as well, because chosen ones carry protection that doesn't depend on rituals or effort. It depends on who you are and what you carry. What's happening now goes far deeper than blocked calls or unanswered messages. Attempts are being made to enter your dreams, to project thoughts into your mind, to stir guilt, fear, or obligation. Spiritual manipulation is being attempted where physical control failed. But when you walked away, you didn't just leave physically, you exited energetically. You severed cords they believed were permanent. You broke soul ties they assumed they owned. You reclaimed pieces of yourself they never had the right to touch, and once those cords are cut, they cannot simply reconnect them. They can try, they can push, they can project, but it bounces back every single time. Some of you experience this through dreams where they appear but cannot reach you, where they chase but never catch up, where you feel nothing at all, and that numbness is clarity. Those dreams are showing the truth of the spiritual realm, pursuit without access. Others feel sudden intrusive thoughts that don't match your usual patterns, thoughts that feel foreign, and the moment you recognize them as not yours, your spiritual immune system rejects them. Some feel it physically: brief anxiety, heaviness, unexplained dread, not because you are weak, but because you are sensitive. The attack hits the shield, not your core. It doesn't stick because you are protected. What they experience on the other side is far worse. Their own energy returns amplified. Every harmful intention rebounds. Every manipulation attempt collapses inward. Every spiritual attack becomes evidence against them in courts far beyond human systems. They are constructing their own confinement. Every projection, every curse, every attempt to control is being recorded, documented, stored. You are not fighting them. You don't need to. Your protection is automatic. Your boundaries are firm. Your shield is active. All you have to do is keep moving forward, keep living, keep building what's next. That is what chosen ones do, and that is what is driving them into panic. Because they are used to controlling outcomes, controlling people, controlling narratives, and with you, none of it works anymore. Manipulate anyone. They are accustomed to spiritual tactics working on everyone, to influence bending people to their will, to minds and emotions being easy entry points. But you are not susceptible. You are fortified. You are covered. You are sealed. What they never anticipated is that the very investigator who was initially directed to find dirt on you would become the key to their complete unraveling. Because a real investigator doesn't stop at intent, they follow threads wherever truth leads, and once those threads were pulled, patterns began to emerge. Financial irregularities that couldn't be explained. People who disappeared around this couple without proper records. Children moving in and out with no documentation. Money appearing from nowhere, flowing without legitimate source. That's when others were brought in. Specialists, financial crime units, experts in crimes against children and vulnerable populations. What exists now is not a rumor or a scare, it is a full, active, multi-agency investigation. Multiple jurisdictions, coordinated effort, a case being built so thoroughly that there will be no escape routes, no loopholes, no technicalities to hide behind. They thought they had been investigated. They were wrong. They are being investigated, present tense, expanding, gaining momentum every single day. This investigation is different from anything they've faced before because the paper trail cannot be erased, the witnesses cannot be silenced, the evidence cannot be destroyed, and the momentum cannot be stopped. Each day brings new discoveries. Each day brings new connections. Each day brings new voices stepping forward with pieces of the puzzle, and every piece sharpens the image. Their defenses are forming. Expensive lawyers, carefully crafted explanations, narratives designed to create doubt. But there is no reasonable doubt when the evidence is this extensive. No narrative that explains this many victims. No legal skill capable of untangling a web built entirely on deception. What they fail to understand is that this is not just about punishment. This is about prevention. This is about exposing a system that allowed harm to continue unchecked. This is about ensuring no one else is hurt the way their victims were hurt, and you were almost one of them, almost someone whose name would be spoken with pity, almost someone used as a warning story about trusting the wrong people. But you are not, because you listened, because you left, because you chose yourself when choosing yourself required immense courage. Now your name will be spoken differently, as the one who got away, as the one who trusted instinct over illusion, as the one who survived proximity to predators and emerged intact. Your story is not a tragedy, it is a testimony. Truth is rising. Justice is moving. The child who knows too much will speak. Investigators will act, authorities will move. And those who chased you will finally face what they spent years outrunning. You were never the prey they believed you to be. You were always the one their trap could not hold, their manipulation could not fool, their schemes could not touch. This is your victory, chosen one. This is what protection looks like. This is what divine timing delivers when you trust the process. Even when it felt like loss, you did not lose, you escaped, and now you are being positioned to thrive. While they face consequences they can no longer avoid, and you step into something greater than you have yet imagined. The enemies who tried to break you were unknowingly preparing you for battles you haven't even faced yet. They hardened your resolve, sharpened your discernment, and taught you how to recognize evil even when it wears a smile. What you carry now cannot be learned from books or handed down by institutions. You earned it in fire, through trials, through tribulation, and that authority is yours to use for good. Somewhere right now, others are standing exactly where you once stood, confused, afraid, questioning their sanity for wanting to leave something that looks acceptable on the surface. They need to know escape is possible. They need proof that life after toxicity isn't just survivable, it's beautiful. You are becoming that proof. Your life will be the evidence that walking away is not quitting, it's waking up, that divine timing is real, that protection is active, that favor can defy logic. Do not hide what you survived, but do not live inside it either. Trauma is not your identity. What almost destroyed you does not define who you are becoming. You are defined by what you overcame, what you endured, what you conquered against impossible odds. Move forward with confidence, with boldness, with certainty that you are exactly where you are meant to be. The season of confusion has ended. The chaos has passed. Clarity has arrived. In this season, you will build things that endure, create things that matter, and touch lives in ways you cannot yet imagine. Your separation from them is final. Your freedom is complete. Your protection is absolute. They belong to your past, you are stepping into your future, and the two will never intersect again. When you eventually hear of their downfall, you will feel no need for satisfaction or revenge. only a quiet recognition that justice has moved, that truth has surfaced, that darkness has met the light, and then you will keep walking, keep rising, keep becoming. Because your story was never about them. It is about your resilience, your courage, your willingness to trust what you couldn't see over what you could see but knew was wrong, and that story is only beginning. The greatest chapters are ahead. The strongest victories are still forming. The most powerful manifestations are on their way. Welcome home to yourself, chosen one. This is not survival, this is triumph. Not escape, victory. Not protection, divine favor in motion. Step into it fully. Claim it completely. Own it unapologetically. You were built for this. You were destined for this. Now go become everything they feared you would be. Go be powerful. Go be free. The chase is over. They lost. You won. Now live like it.